Welcome back, everybody, to Pull Hook Golf, the podcast. I'm your host, Matt Cook, and tonight, unfortunately, the Buttsy, he is not here this evening. He was a last-minute scratch. We were supposed to be doing the show live from Trevor's in Arcadia. However, he had a tooth infection that went haywire. He actually blew out his back as well. We got Trot Golfer already chiming in. I absolutely love it. Looks like someone had a bit too much brisket over the last few days, and he certainly did. Unfortunately, he was. If you follow him on social media, he had that brisket that he was working all up and everything. And we're actually supposed to go out and play some golf on Monday. We're going to do some content, and sure enough, unfortunately, he blew out his back doing the barbecue. He said it was the weirdest thing. And then today, and he's been dealing with the toothache for some time now, but it's a full-on tooth infection at this point. So hopefully, Buttsy, you're feeling better, buddy, and can't wait to have you back next week, because we are pushing it to next week with Trevor's going live from Trevor's in Arcadia. Yes, for all of you Barstool fans as well, that is where Dave Portnoy did the One Bite Challenge and scored at the highest pizza ranking in Arizona at that Trevor's. And man, they have been absolutely swamped ever since. We also, on tonight's episode, we're going to talk about the passing of Grayson Murray, unfortunately. We're going to talk about Harry Higgs and how he made history. We're going to get into the NCAA championships. Got the Charles Schwab Challenge recap, got the Swannies style segment, and we've got LIV Golf Houston. But without further ado, we do want to give a quick thank you to Swannies Golf for sponsoring this episode of Pull Hook Golf and being the main sponsor of the show. Swannies, absolutely love you. And if you want 25% off your entire order at swannies.co, make sure to utilize promo code PullHookGolf25 at checkout for 25% off your entire order. Man, oh man. And then last but not least, we do have LIV Golf Houston. I don't know if I mentioned that in what we're going to be going over tonight. But again, want to give a shout out to Swannies. I'm wearing the Wade hat today, as well as the Clyde Polo. So you just got to pay attention to the colors too, because there's a couple different color Wade hats and two different colored Clyde Polos. But this Clyde Polo is the lemon. You can see the little yellow in there. But since Memorial Day was yesterday, I figured I'd give it a little bit of a red, white, and blue theme here. We got the navy, the red, the white, same with the hat. So we're just keeping it real over here. Now, with all of that said, for the Swannies side, I did mention that we were going to be announcing the winner tonight on the Swannies giveaway. That was on the Pull Hook Golf Instagram page. We will be announcing that actually tomorrow morning. So you still got, if you haven't gone on to Pull Hook Golf yet and added, all you got to do, by the way, these are the rules. You got to follow Pull Hook Golf. You got to follow Swannies Golf. And you got to add in the comments. Well, of course, you got to like the post, but you got to add into the comments and tag your foursome that you normally would play golf with. So that's going to be 3 other people. You can enter as many times as you would like with as many people as you would like, but going until midnight tonight, and I will announce the winner tomorrow morning. So once again, Swannies Golf, folks. This gear is sick, by the way. Absolutely love it. Been rocking it for a long time now. Good stuff coming from Swannies. Make sure to go over there and utilize that Pull Hook Golf 25 promo code at checkout for 25% off your entire order. Austin Whittington chiming in here. Love the Swannies shorts. I do too. The shorts are actually very underrated. I do size up. That's my only recommendation there. I do go one size bigger than I normally would. They do run a little bit on the tight side, but those Swanee shorts are very, very solid. So we're just going to keep it rolling, keep it moving, baby. Here we go. So first off, the first part of today's episode, unfortunately, is the passing of Grayson Murray. I hate these. I absolutely hate it. Another good guy gone. And that's where we're going to start this episode. We're going to start it with a quick moment of silence. And here's the thing, folks. He ended up taking his own life. We have a statement from the parents. A lot of you probably have already seen this. I'm going to read it out loud. But the parents put this as a statement. We've spent the last 24 hours trying to come to terms with the fact that our son is gone. It's surreal that we not only have to admit it to ourselves, but that we also have to acknowledge it to the world. It's a nightmare. We have so many questions that have no answers, but one. Was Grayson loved? The answer is yes. By us, his brother Cameron, his sister Erica, all of his extended family, by his friends, by his fellow players, and it seems by many of you who are reading this. He was loved and he will be missed. We would like to thank the PGA Tour and the entire world of golf for the outpouring of support. Life wasn't always easy for Grayson, and although he took his own life, we know he rests peacefully now. Please respect our privacy as we work through this incredible tragedy, and please honor Grayson by being kind to one another. If that becomes his legacy, we could ask for nothing else. Thank you. That was from the parents. Dylan Vaudry, prayers to Grayson's family. And it really is. I mean, God, those parents, they dealt with a lot. I'll tell you what, I know quite a bit about Grayson because we've had quite a few of his caddies on this show. So Micah Fugit, good old Bobby Brown caddied for him for a little while, previous co-host here on the Pull Hook Golf podcast, and a few other guys as well. And everybody just had the nicest things to say about Grayson. He was a bit crazy and wild back when he was dealing with alcohol addiction and so forth. And a lot of these caddies knew him through that, obviously. But everybody had such nice things to say about Grayson Murray before he ended up taking his own life. Now, the one thing that I will say is, as just a PSA, I put this out on Twitter a couple days ago when this all went down, but please, if you are having issues with depression, don't think you are too manly to, and this goes for everybody, not just men, but it tends to be men that end up committing suicide. The famous toad venom that I've talked about on the show when I went to Tulum, it was the craziest thing, but you're with a shaman and it's a very enlightening, and there's a lot of research that's been done around this with John Hopkins research and so forth. And so I just recommend somebody, if you're going through stuff, to seek out help and to go and seek some of even these alternative. I couldn't recommend it enough. It really was the one thing that made me realize this is bigger than myself. And I just want everybody to take care of themselves and say something nice. We'll get into that here in a second with what Harry Higgs said. But again, Grayson Murray, shout out to him. He had worked so hard on himself. And here's the thing, folks, like you hear about burning out in a career. You hear about maxing out to your maximum. That is something to where he was dealing with addiction every single day. And he got into great shape. And then on top of that, he focused on professional golf, but it seemed like he was just to the limit. And it just seemed like there was a life-changing type of event that went on top of that he just couldn't handle it anymore. And that's where you need help. And again, I just really wish that anybody that is going through any personal struggles, any type of depression, anxiety, addiction, so on and so forth, we've lost too many. So just go seek the type of help. And Brian from Twitter put, poor guy, do you think they should have canceled or delayed the tournament at all? The answer to that is no, because Jay Monahan, as much as he gets shit on by everybody, including myself at times, he actually reached out to the parents and asked them if they wanted the PGA Tour to cancel the event. They were actually going to cancel the golf tournament in honor of Grayson Murray, and they said no, he wouldn't want it that way. He would want all the guys to still go on and still play. So that's what they did. And shout out to the PGA Tour for reaching out to the family in regards to that. And shout out to the family because there was a lot of stuff that was going around in regards to his death. And I mean, the players knew, I knew right away. So the family came out in that statement that I read and talked about how it was suicide. So just to set the record straight there, he did take his own life. And trot golfer, his views on other players were pretty fun to follow. He did and said things other players only wish they could say. He will be missed. He was one of the outspoken guys. So what's crazy is we're at the RBC Canadian Open this week for the PGA Tour, and he was one of the guys. Remember, this was when it all broke about the framework agreement with PIF, and the players went nuts. The players were pissed. They had a closed-door conference with all the players at the RBC Canadian Open, and Grayson was one of the guys who stood up and just absolutely went at Jay Monahan, called him a fake and a phony, and just went after him. And so Grayson was one of those guys that he never held back. And I think that's what the caddies loved about him. Like, he never mistreated the caddies from all of the stories and everything. Because I was always curious about that. Remember, he got into it on the range with Kevin Na. They almost came to fisticuffs. And the caddies and everything really showed that, that was just him not being in the right mindset, but he was never afraid to tell somebody how it is. And I love those type of people. If you can't tell by the show, I love to tell it how it is. I don't love to sugarcoat things. I get direct and to the point, and Grayson seems like he was very much the same. Another comment here from Austin Whittington. Rory told him to play better, and he did. R.I.P. Grayson. And he did. I mean, and that's the crazy thing. He turned around his life, got clean, ends up getting fit, focused on golf, got engaged. The one thing we haven't heard about at all, and I'm just going to leave this one here, is we haven't heard anything about or from the fiance. So I don't know if that was the life-changing event that really pushed him over the top, but she was not mentioned in the parent's statement either. So just something else to kind of take into account there with this whole thing. But enough's enough, guys. Let's be nice to each other. Let's treat each other with respect. Now a quick word from our sponsor. Swannies is here with a fresh take. Performance-based materials are a given these days. But if you're looking for the stretchiest and most lightweight pieces that deliver a look that says, I'm here for a good time, take a walk on the Swannies side. With fabric sourced from recycled plastics and designs sourced from our very own weekend warriors, Swannies is looking out for both our planet and those that need a little style to boost their drive another 15 yards. Premium looks from top to bottom at swannies.co. Let's get into Harry Higgs, because he mentioned something that, Harry Higgs, everybody seems to know him from when the PGA Tour, he came out on the PGA Tour and he did that video of him riding and he was singing the song or lip syncing it. And Harry Higgs came onto the scene. Then at the Waste Management Phoenix Open, he did the whole lifting up the shirt with Joel Damon. And Harry Higgs really made a name for himself. It actually rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. It rubbed Bobby Brown, former co-host on the show, the wrong way. Bobby didn't like him at all because of all of that stuff that was going on. He's like, this guy isn't that good. He doesn't deserve to get this much attention, and he's getting a ton of attention, and he's kind of soaking it in and so forth. So with that said, Harry Higgs goes back to the Korn Ferry Tour this year. And he becomes the 14th player. And you'll know, we don't talk about the Korn Ferry Tour that often on this show. We don't talk about it enough. We talk about it from time to time and some guys that are coming up through and everything. But this one actually deserves the shout out here. So Harry Higgs goes back to back. So won last week, won the week prior. He's the 14th player in the history of the Korn Ferry Tour to ever do this. It's happened 15 times. Apparently, another player that I did not find the name for also did that twice. So there's that. But he's the first player ever, and this is where Harry Higgs makes some history, first player ever to win consecutive Korn Ferry Tours events in a playoff. So he went back-to-back playoffs and won in both of them. That tells you a little bit about Harry Higgs and the type of game that this guy's got, and he's on the path back to the PGA Tour. Let me know in the comments if you guys feel otherwise. I mean, Harry Higgs, he's done his... I feel like now he deserves some of the attention and everything around him. And in his winning speech, he honored Grayson Murray. He said that, "I would challenge everybody here, and I'm going to do this myself as well each day. Say something nice to someone you love, and also make a point to say something nice to someone you do not even know." Once again, that was Harry Higgs after his win on the Korn Ferry Tour, going back to back. So made sure that he called out to Grayson Murray. Brian here mentions that he's watched Harry have a range session at the Valspar on a Tuesday a couple years ago. He seemed to have a fantastic personality. I liked him right away. I will say this. He seemed to have a great personality. And what's cool is when you see somebody get onto the PGA Tour, have a bunch of publicity around them and everything, and then have to go down to the Korn Ferry Tour because they didn't fully succeed at the PGA Tour, and then they have to revamp their game. They've got to get back into the grind. They've got to make sure that they're throwing in some super low rounds out there in order to work their way back up to getting back onto the PGA Tour. Now when he comes back, I feel like he has fully deserved it, and he deserves some of the attention that takes place. Trot Golfer says, "Higgs is great. It's nice to see a guy with some flash, attitude, whatever you want to call it. Plus, he never buttons his shirt. That's a bonus." I mean, he doesn't. He looks a little sloppy out there at times with the shirt and everything, but he just lets it fly. Lets it absolutely fly, and that's why I'm starting to really get a soft spot for Harry Higgs, because he's doing it down there, and he's still being that same guy, and I hope when he comes to the PGA Tour, he does get some of the attention back that he had early on with the PGA Tour. So moving from an area that we don't talk about a lot on this show to another, which is the NCAA championships. If you didn't know, now you know. Those are going on right now. And, oh, hang on. Before we do get into the NCAA championships, I just saw a comment come by from Golfer HD. Let's get you in here. Saying something nice is the easiest way to brighten someone's day. You know what I really loved about that speech by Harry Higgs is that he said, say it to somebody you love and to a stranger. I think the more impactful part is actually saying it to a stranger, because you have no idea what they're going through day in and day out. And whenever somebody acts out of character, is angry, whatever, just realize that everybody's going through something in their life, and to give them a little bit of respect and a little bit of courtesy. And I think that goes certainly a really long way. But now let's get into the NCAA championships, to where, yes, that is happening right now as we speak. I believe the semifinals just wrapped up. So let me give you a little bit of background here heading into the final day of the NCAA championships, which is tomorrow. So if you're listening to the podcast version of this, that is happening today, so make sure to watch. It is out in Omni La Costa. They're playing the North Course, which is a par 72, stretches out to 7,538 yards. Trot Golfer wants to know, how's Arizona State doing? Not good. They are completely out of it, and yeah, not good at all. ASU, man, I feel like one of these years coming up, they've got to represent once again and show that they are a powerhouse when it comes to D1 golf, because they've got so many good players that are on the team. I mean, there's so many good collegiate players, but right now, the semifinals just wrapped up. I still have the scores pulling up. I was watching it before coming onto the show, and I was getting pumped up just watching these young kids play. But I will say this, my one criticism is around, and I know the Golf Channel has picked them up and has been a big supporter of collegiate golf, and they're really starting to push it, but it's the announcers. And Shane Bacon is probably the best one in the group. I am bored out of my mind listening to those guys. They bring absolutely nothing. It's almost like for the few parents that are watching, that it's for them. But I'm sitting there going, man, this is collegiate golf. How freaking cool would it be? And this would be my pitch to the Golf Channel, to the NCAA. I don't know who's running the show with this whole thing and making these type of commitments, but think about Buttsy and I commentating, because we actually know what the hell we're talking about, but we can add in some humor, some flavor to it, and make it to where like collegiate kids in college are going to want to watch this damn thing. It was like listening to paint dry on a wall. That's how the announcers were for the NCAA championships, and it's just boring, man. Like, I don't know where to take that other than like just absolutely destroying them, and I don't want to do that, but I would love to have an opportunity with Buttsy to do an NCAA event next year, almost like what No Laying Up did, and they did like the Manning cast and so forth with ESPN. I would love to do that with the Golf Channel, to where like keep your boring announcers on. Keep them on, but allow Buttsy and I to do like ESPN the Ocho style for this. And I'm telling you, I have a feeling that it would be a huge hit with the college kids. I think the college kids would absolutely love it. And Trot Golfer agrees. He says coverage is awful. The entire thing is awful. It's painful. It really is. It's just boring as shit. But let's get into the actual NCAA championships itself. The individual men's winner that took place the other day, Hiroshi Tai from Georgia Tech, made a triple bogey in the final round, came all the way back to shoot 3 under in order to win the golf tournament. Hiroshi Tai. Now, I don't know much about Hiroshi Tai, but clearly, being on Georgia Tech alongside with Christo Lambrick, they did pretty damn well, and guess what? They were in the semifinals today. Now, bad news for Georgia Tech, they went down to Florida State University. They lost that one, so Florida State University is going to be moving forward. And what's tough for Georgia Tech in this one is that Christo Lamprecht was up by 2 in the final set of holes. I think there were like 6 holes left to play. He's 2 up, and he goes down losing 5 straight holes to lose the match. So Florida State University advances. They end up winning 3 out of the 5 matches. And then Auburn versus Ohio State, that just wrapped up. Actually, hang on a second. That has not wrapped up. That is still going on as we speak. I thought we had an update here because they're 2 matches won to 2 matches won, Auburn versus Ohio State, and there is the deciding match is tied through 20 holes right now. So we don't know if they're going to be moving forward or not, but Auburn was the number 1 team in the country. Ohio State is putting up a battle. Neil Shipley, who we all got to know through the USAM last year, he lost for Ohio State, but this is going to be interesting. I would love to see Auburn versus Florida State personally, and that'll be on tomorrow. I have no idea what time, though. Absolutely no idea. Golf TV needs a 180 fast. I'm telling you, man, the Manning cast style, like they do with football, with Peyton Manning and Eli Manning, and they started doing it with No Laying Up. Like ESPN has this thing down to where I think that's going to be the way moving forward. And I would love to see the Golf Channel start getting into this. Reach out, Golf Channel, reach out to Buttsy and myself. Let us do one of those Manning cast style deals for the NCAA tournaments next year, even just the regular tournaments. I would love to do them. We're going to be doing more on the putting side as well, where we're going to have a full series taking place here at Putting World in Scottsdale, Arizona. Buttsy and I are going to do the live commentary for it, and it's going to be our own league. So keep an eye out for some more information coming from us around that. But that's going to get started this summer. So looking forward to that. And if you're here locally and want to participate, definitely reach out. And here we go. Trot Golfer. That kid won behind in the stroke play, nailed the stick. I saw that. So this kid He was one stroke behind, just went flag hunting. And by flag hunting, I mean he absolutely demolished the flagstick, went flying back into the bunker, and it definitely was pretty painful way to end the round for that kid and lose the individual title. Golfer HD wants you to know Pittsburgh is Neil Shipley, right from Pittsburgh itself. And then just watch live stream commentary on these events. We'll watch, or just live stream. Okay. You know what? That's not a bad idea. I will look into how to live stream those and pull them up and put Buttsy and I next to it. Let's see if we can't get something like that going. I'll do a little bit of research into the streaming software, see if we can get that done, because I think that would be a lot of fun and kind of set the tone towards that. Another note in regards to the NCAA side of things. So the PGA Tour U. This is that new program that the PGA Tour established that allowed Ludwig Åberg to come right into the PGA Tour, have his card, play in events, and obviously that was a huge success with Ludwig because he ended up getting into the Ryder Cup, has gotten into majors now, and is just a fixture on the PGA Tour. Well, Stanford's own Michael Thor Bjornsson. God, see, I would need to learn some of these names. Thor Bjornsson. I think that's still absolutely botched. I'm sorry, Michael. My apologies. I will learn your name as soon as you get on the PGA Tour. But he finished first. He's going to get his 2025 PGA Tour card. And that's a pretty cool setup that they've got for the PGA Tour U. Christo Lambrecht, he is the big hitter from Georgia Tech. And he was the number one amateur. He was chasing down Michael. However, he injured his back. Didn't seem to have any issues with his back today. That was not why he ended up losing 5 straight to lose the match. It just kind of seemed like he choked a little bit, which is okay, Christo. You're going to learn from that and become better from it. But Michael ends up, from Stanford, finishing first, gets his 2025 PGA Tour card. All right, let's keep it moving, keep it grooving here. The Charles Schwab Challenge, and we're going to recap that here. So first off, the winner, Davis Riley. Now, got a little bit of history here with Davis Riley. I don't personally, but through the show we do. And of course, I got to take a sip of whiskey before I get into this, because this is a little bit of drama here around Davis Riley, okay? Now, if you go back a couple months ago, I had Lance Bennett on the podcast. That was his second time being on the podcast. You might recall the name because you might have heard it recently, because he is Tiger Woods' caddy now, okay? So Lance Bennett was on the bag for Davis Riley before moving on and then getting Tiger's back. However, before Lance Bennett, there was Daniel Gregory, okay? Daniel Gregory is Bobby Brown's son. Now, so follow me for a second here with this story. Bobby Brown, his son, followed in his footsteps, has been a great caddy on the Korn Ferry Tour, and really did his dues on the Korn Ferry Tour with multiple guys. Even had a couple stints on the PGA Tour. I believe he might have even caddied for Grayson Murray, if I'm not mistaken. And I've had Daniel on this podcast as well. So if you go back to earlier episodes with Bobby, we actually had his son on, and his son is now the caddy for Pierceson Coody. But this is where the drama lies, because Lance Bennett and Bobby Brown were best friends. Okay. And they always stayed in the same rooms and everything. And they had a little falling out before they kind of mended fences, because what ended up happening, and it's no fault other than Davis Riley's for a little bit of bad form on his behalf, I feel like, because Davis Riley ends up qualifying to get onto the PGA Tour. You would think that the caddy that you were with, you're going to bring up to the PGA Tour, that really paid his dues, young, great caddy. And sure enough, Davis Riley, soon as he goes to make the move to the PGA Tour, calls Lance Bennett and wants him to be his caddy. Tough one. Daniel Gregory gets the boot from Davis Riley. Davis Riley goes on to Lance Bennett. Him and Lance Bennett were together for a while, and Lance ended up moving on from Davis. Took a couple other bags like Austin Smotherman, another guy that he mentioned on the podcast, European. I still can't remember that damn kid's name, but Daniel Gregory got the good old shaft from Davis Riley. So I'll never forget that one. And it led to tensions in the friendship between Lance and Bobby. So a lot of drama around that one. But Davis Riley, hell of a player. Trot Golfer says Grayson did the same thing. It does happen. So I don't want everybody to think that this doesn't happen. With caddies, there's kind of this carousel, right? And with Kip Henley, yes, I do. I actually know about that one. Which Kip is a little bit of an outspoken person as well. I've seen his stuff on Twitter, and he's kind of mellowed out a little bit. But going back to Davis Riley here, so he just played extremely solid all week. Now, one of the coolest things about winning the Charles Schwab Challenge is you get a old school vehicle that's been redone that is historic. He ended up getting a Corvette Stingray, like an old school one with the lighter blue color to it. It was sick. But it's just a cool bonus. But Davis Riley had a great first round. Very windy conditions there at Colonial. And the other side to it as well is that he got a big lead and then just never really looked back. Now, one of the weird things is Scottie Scheffler. Scottie Scheffler did not look right the first round. And I mentioned when he had the kid, when he had his first child, and I hate to say this, absolutely hate to say it, Scottie Scheffler might be dealing with the first child syndrome that bogs down every great golfer because he did not look like himself out there in the opening round. Now, granted, shot a 2 over 72, comes back with a 65, then comes back on Saturday with a 63. But then you see it again on Sunday. Just did not look like himself. Goes out, shoots 1 over 71, and finishes tied for second. Scottie Scheffler. And in addition to the first child syndrome, I saw the video. So last week on a Thursday, took a day for myself, went out and played 72 holes of golf. Now, before anybody goes, that's impossible to play 72 holes of golf in a day, played on a par 3 course, okay? It's actually one of my favorite out here in Arizona. It's called Mountain Shadows, the short course. It's absolutely fantastic. And I played 72 holes. And at the end of the day, so I was there from like 6:30 in the morning to about 4:30, 5 o'clock. Get home, pop open Instagram and Twitter, and I see the video of Scottie Scheffler. And it's that different camera angle that everybody has seen now to where he's pulling around very slowly. And this super trooper ends up coming up and slam it. I don't know if it was like a flashlight or whatever he had in his hand, but it's like he tried to dent the vehicle. This super trooper, who's very high on himself, you can tell from the video, like it's not very hard to know what was going on there. But this guy and then he tries to like get inside of his vehicle, tries to turn off the vehicle as if Scottie Scheffler is refusing to turn it off. Scottie Scheffler's completely stopped. Just a complete abuse of power is what I saw. And with that, the charges still officially haven't been dropped to my knowledge. So if I'm wrong on that, feel free to throw it in there. I was actually talking with my dad on Sunday, and he was saying that the cop had been let go. Now, that was Twitter news, so I'm not quite sure. But, yeah, I mean, Trot Golfer says the cop was being what 90% of cops are. I hate to say it because I'm a supporter of police. And out here in Arizona especially, and I know that they can get a little bit out of hand at times, so they got a tough job to do. But that one in particular just seemed ridiculous. And you know that he's done this to other people that are innocent and have screwed them over. So that's where it becomes tough. Like, I don't want people to lose their jobs, but in this particular case, this guy clearly abuses power and clearly has done it before because he looks super comfortable abusing power, and everybody had stepped back and everything from what this guy was doing. Like, nobody wanted to jump in and help until it was like too late. But man, that is just a hard look for that police officer. And again, after seeing that, I can see why Scottie Scheffler struggled at the PGA. And I get it, Trot Golfer. He can't win every week, can he? No, but here's the thing. His game is so consistent and his ball striking is so good. Normally where you're going to see him struggle is with the flat stick. And that's what we're actually seeing right now from Collin Morikawa. Okay? Last week on the show, Collin Morikawa was actually my pick to win or to be in the top 20. Folks, if you are gambling on golf, here's my recommendation. Do top 20s. I was talking with a number of sports gamblers because of the whole Xander Schauffele deal. And I've been a top 20 guy for a long time. Like, I normally don't throw out there a ton. And if I do, throw in a couple bucks on a winner. I don't really go after winners all that often. I want to see guys finish in the top 20. I feel like it's a lot more predictable to get guys in the top 20. So I actually parlayed Collin Morikawa and Scottie Scheffler to finish in the top 20. Made a good little bit of money around that. But Collin Morikawa finishes fourth this week. The guy can't buy a bucket with the putter. And that's what I'm talking about with Scottie Scheffler. So normally it's not his golf swing that goes. The numbers and all the stats and everything back that up. So his strokes gained approach, driving consistency and accuracy, and so forth. That's with Scottie Scheffler, right? So Scottie Scheffler, very consistent, one of the best ball strikers out there. And normally you're not going to see him struggle like he did in the first round and the final round. So I'm a little nervous when it comes to Scottie Scheffler and for the rest of the year. Collin Morikawa, on the other hand, I didn't know this. I ended up finding that Collin Morikawa is number one in driving accuracy this year. And the guy is hitting it extremely well. And then I finally figured out why he's hitting it so goddamn well. Collin Morikawa went to Mark Blackburn, and Collin Morikawa went to him. I didn't know this. I ended up learning this over the weekend. And I'm like, holy crap. So Collin Morikawa, no wonder his ball striking, and he's always been a great ball striker, so don't get me twisted on that. But he, and Trot Golfer, love this. Collin couldn't make it in foot golf hole. So those are those big, huge holes that you kick a soccer ball into. And you're spot on because he has struggled. He struggled at the PGA. He struggled there, but his game is so consistent right now. And he still feels like he's playing with a B game at the moment. So once again, imagine Collin Morikawa once he gets into that mode of feeling like he's got his A game. The putter needs to come around. And the putter has always been an issue with him, as well as chipping. So that's one thing with Scottie Scheffler. Scottie Scheffler's chipping is always just absolutely dynamite around that. So a bit of difference there. But again, Scottie Scheffler, little bit worried, little troublesome. I'm not ringing the alarms yet around Scottie Scheffler, okay? So let's give him a couple more weeks. Let's see what he ends up doing in a couple more tournaments moving forward once he gets a little bit of his footing and so forth. And I just want to give a shout out. I saw a text message come across, and as I'm talking about Scottie Scheffler, one of my good buddies, Tyson Rickers, he just text me, and they've been on baby watch as well because his wife has been pregnant, and sure enough, Otto Edward Rickers is excited to be here. So apparently, and he just sent over the text. Obviously, it's been a couple crazy days for him. So the baby was born on May 25th. Congratulations, Tyson and Jenna, for a baby boy that is awesome. He's healthy at home. And he also mentioned that Otto's first request is lifelong golf lessons from his favorite Uncle Matt. I will absolutely oblige to that. So congrats, Tyson Rickers. Tyson's golf game is going to go downhill. I just want him to know that now. But his son, his game will be very good because I will certainly oblige and I will certainly give some lessons to good old Otto for a lifetime. So looking forward to meeting Otto in the days to come. But that's the whirlwind of having a kid, right? So Scottie Scheffler, once again, we'll be keeping an eye on him. Let's talk a little bit about Keegan Bradley, because Keegan Bradley showed up at the PGA Championship, and here at Colonial in very tough conditions is T2 alongside of Scottie Scheffler. Now, Keegan Bradley, these are the first signs of life out of Keegan Bradley since the Ryder Cup debacle, which he did not get picked by Zach Johnson to be one of the captain's picks of the Ryder Cup, and he was very hurt by that. You could tell that he just wanted it so badly, loves that competition, loves representing his country, and he hasn't played well. So now that he's starting to play well, I would say watch out for Keegan Bradley kind of moving forward. It's just a guy to keep an eye on right now. And then we got Pierceson Coody. Okay, so I mentioned this is coming back full cycle because Davis Riley, who canned Daniel Gregory after he made it onto the PGA Tour, went to Lance Bennett for a while. Daniel Gregory ended up finding himself a great bag and a great person in Pierceson Coody. Daniel Gregory had the opportunity of going to a top 20 bag. And instead, he stood by his guy in Pierceson Coody and goes, no, I'm not going to do what's been done to me. I'm going to stand by my guy. I love this guy. This guy is going to be on the PGA Tour, and we're going to have a great run together. So I've known of Pierceson and then also his twin brother Parker. Both guys can play, but Pierceson is the guy that if you're on the driving range, listening to the shots that Pierceson Coody is hitting, he's one of those ball strikers that when you hear it come off of the club face, you're just like, holy shit, that's a different sound. Not a lot of people are making that sound. And that's Pierceson Coody. Now, he had a very impressive showing. Was in second heading into the final round, or actually third heading into the final round. He was second heading into the third round. So Pierceson Coody, and he's a guy that when he figures it out and he calms down his nerves, because he definitely had some nerves on that Sunday. Shot 4 over 74, and he just does not look comfortable in the spotlight yet. But that's something he's going to learn. And this experience of being in there and being in contention, that's going to bode really, really well for him. And he's one of these guys that his ball doesn't get affected by the wind that much because of how solid he strikes his irons in game. But I do want to give a shout out to Daniel Gregory. At times I had to do a double take. I'm like, holy shit, is that Bobby out there? Because Bobby wore the big Australian, like, it's not the bucket hat, but it's the Aussie hat that goes all the way around. Daniel was wearing one of those, and he's long and skinny like his dad. Bobby's like 6'5". Daniel's tall too. And I'm looking and I'm just like, is that a young Bobby Brown out there? I mean, it was pretty cool to see him doing his thing out there with Pierceson. And again, those guys are going to do something at some point in the future. So just keep an eye on Pierceson Coody. Course conditions out there at Colonial, they were very firm greens. So here's the thing. There was a lot of hate on the golf course from skeptics, right? You're talking about the trolls that are out there and everything. And there were some brown spots and whatnot. What a lot of people didn't realize because they don't have golf knowledge, if they're a troll in a lot of ways, they're just idiots for the most part, is that there was a complete course renovation or restoration to the golf course that took place that in order to get it fully ready to go, they needed 18 months. It was completed in 11 months just so that they could have this golf tournament in time. That golf course was not what it's going to be next year. when we get to this tournament next year, Colonial Country Club is going to be an absolute gem. All the players were raving about the changes that were made. There was a few par threes on the back nine that have changed pretty dramatically. And it's tough. It plays tough every year. I just want to acknowledge the fact that Gil Hance did a phenomenal job. He's the one that did the restoration, brought it back to kind of its natural roots, got rid of a lot of the fake cement kind of riverways and so forth, and made it more a natural terrain and everything. And the job that they did was phenomenal. But the greens were very firm, and there were windy conditions. First round Thursday was very windy, and then Sunday was very windy until the end. So again, just tough conditions. And for Davis Riley to shoot 14 under and to win by 5, he deserved to win that golf tournament. Great job by Davis Riley. There's so much talent that is out there on the PGA Tour. PGA Tour is in a great spot from a talent perspective, and these are guys that you need to get to know. Our picks last week, I mean, I won that one with Colin Morikawa at 8 under. I believe Buttsy was with Jordan Spieth at +1. I said, watch out for Billy Horschel. He was at -1. Brian Harmon, -1. I forget who else we had in the betting side of things. We were kind of picking the top 5 guys there and so forth. But yeah, let's keep it moving. Got about 1,000 people on right now. So between good old YouTube and Twitter, we're doing quite well here. So horrible course, too many trees. Yeah, that's Austin Whittington. He's joking around there, but no, a phenomenal golf course and plays very tough. So moving into the upcoming RBC Canadian Open. Previous winner here was Nick Taylor. If you remember, there was a guy, Adam Hadwin, ended up getting tackled by a security guard trying to celebrate with his buddy Nick Taylor. That became quite viral last year at the RBC Canadian Open. But we got a ton of information to go over there. Track Golfer is asking about Richard Bland, anyone? So Richard Bland, we're going to get into that. So that's at the end here with LIV Golf, because we got a lot to talk about with LIV Golf as well. I know it's running a little long here. I'm running long in the tooth, as Mikey Perez used to say. But the upcoming RBC Canadian Open, this is at Hamilton Golf and Country Club up there in Canada. It was designed by Harry Colt, restored by Martin Ebert, and it's a par 70, stretches out to about 7,084 yards, not super long, and, as Trot Golfers mentioned, Nick Taylor, one of the best putts ever made when he won that last year. It was absolutely incredible. And to see a Canadian win the Canadian Open, that's their national open. So it means a lot more to them than it does to us. And that's what's pretty cool about that entire thing. I'm pretty stoked for this particular tournament because guess what? Betting odds, I feel like I've got a little bit of insight here around the RBC Canadian Open, because guess who plays extremely well at the RBC Canadian Open? That is Rory McIlroy. So Rory, he is at +360 this week. He is the fan favorite amongst all the betting books that are out there. Now, again, I'm a top 20 guy. I love putting people in the top 20. You're going to have to put up some money in order to get Rory into the top 20 and actually make a little bit of money. But if you parlay that with somebody like Shane Lowry, who when Rory won it 2 years ago, Shane Lowry finished second. Who played really well at the PGA Championship? Not only Rory McIlroy, but Shane Lowry, which Rory had his stumbles, right? So it's not as big of a lock as Scottie Scheffler or Colin Morikawa last week, but I do like Rory McIlroy for obvious reasons this week, and I do like Shane Lowry this week. Now, I was talking to one of my caddy buddies on tour, and he's got a new bag. I will mention that in a little bit, but Alex Noren was one of the guys that they were playing in some money games and so forth, and he said, Alex Noren is just dialed in right now. So watch out for Alex Noren. He's made, I think, 13 out of 14 cuts this year, or heading into last year as well. So Alex Noren is a caddy dream this year of just making cut after cut after cut. Now, does that equate to a top 20 this week? Potentially not, but I do like Alex Noren. You've got some others here, so I'm going to go over some of the odds. Tommy Fleetwood is in second here at plus 1,600. Sahith Theegala at plus 1,800. Then you got Shane Lowry, Alex Noren, Corey Connors, and Cameron Young at plus 2,200. Sam Burns at plus 2,500. You've got Maverick McNeely and Adam Scott at plus 3,300. Keith Mitchell and Aaron Rai at plus 3,500. I'm going to stop there for just a second because guess what? Aaron Rai, our two-glove guy from England, this guy can play, and he's been hovering around in the top 40s lately in tournaments, including the PGA, and he did finish in the top 20 last year. I believe he finished in the top 10 last year at this tournament. This is a good one for Aaron Rai, so I do like Aaron Rai this week as well. Tom Kim and Mackenzie Hughes are also at plus 3,500. Then you've got Eric Van Rooyen, Akshay Bhatia, Adam Hadwin, and Davis Thompson at plus 5,000. You go beyond that, you get too much into the weeds, but these are the guys that we're looking at this week. And here's the thing. For my picks, I've already gone over a couple. I will tell you right now that Rory McIlroy at plus 360, might want to throw in just a few bucks on him because he's won this tournament multiple times. Track Golfer says, and this is in regards to Aaron Rai, iron covers can't win, can they? Plus 2 gloves. I mean, he's doing everything out there. And he does. He's got the iron covers on. Imagine being his caddy. Okay? Aaron Rai. So just so that everybody knows that if you're not familiar with this guy, he certainly has the iron covers, and he told the story going back to his childhood that, you know, they weren't very well off and his parents got him irons, and, you know, he's kept that going because he wants to protect his clubs, even though now he gets them for free from all the tour vans and everything. He still puts them on. But imagine being his goddamn caddy, and imagine a rainy day. You know how many gloves are up in the umbrella for these players, just trying to keep one dry so that they can have a good grip on their club? Aaron Rai, you got 2 gloves everywhere. And on top of that, you got to be taking off the iron covers. I don't know who his caddy is, but man, that's got to be a tough gig. That's what they like to refer to as a hard bag. That is a complicated, hard bag right there. So Aaron Rai, I do like him though. The guy has some serious game. He has not broken through yet. And Dylan says, Dylan Vaudry, as a caddy, it would be a damn nightmare. It absolutely would. I could not imagine. And I'm going to tell you right now, I don't think there's a single caddy that really wants his bag because of how difficult of a bag that he'd be. It's kind of like the guy that you're like, man, I don't have many good options right now. I'm going to take the money. I'm going to take the money and I'm going to go to Aaron Rai because he makes a lot of cuts. That's the thing about Aaron Rai. And he really popped onto the scene last year, and he's just been very consistent. And again, he makes a lot of cuts. He's just not, he hasn't broken through yet for the victory. I think it's coming though. I would probably say Aaron Rai, I would be surprised if he doesn't win by the end of next year. He'll probably end up getting to that point. He's got a lot of game, but definitely a caddy nightmare. Aaron Rai, caddy nightmare. So I like Rory. I like Shane Lowry. I like Alex Noren. I like Aaron Rai. And then the guy that I was talking about, who I had on the podcast, David Geese, he moved on. So if you recall, he was with Harrison Endicott. He's now with Bud Cauley. So Bud Cauley is on his way back. Bud Cauley has dealt with a lot of injury issues over the years. I believe he was in a car accident, if I'm not mistaken. And just one of these good guys that you want to root for. So I've got Bud Cauley this week too, because he's like, man, I'm on his bag now. Had to make the switch. He said it was one of the toughest things ever to call up Harrison and let him know that he was moving on. But Bud Cauley, this kid has game. And if he gets this together, and he said he's very motivated right now, game looks in great shape. So Bud Cauley, watch out for him. He's deep in the odds. I'm not saying he's going to win, but if he could pull off a top 20, I got a nice little parlay that I think I'm going to hit on for that. All right, let's get into the Swannies style segment. The winner of this Swannies $250 giveaway will be announced tomorrow. I apologize. If we were in person, Buttsy and I, we would have picked out of a hat. We would have gone on. And yes, Trot Golfer, Bud Cauley, the OG DOD. Don't let the DOD King know that. But yes, he is the OG when it comes to driver off the deck. He is the OG King of that. And now he's healthy. He's got the health exemption this year on the PGA Tour. And I think with David on the bag, they could be a really good combo. And this could be exactly what Bud's looking for. So hopefully, fingers crossed, Bud's got a great amount of game, and David just brings that level of cool and calmness to the bag that I think they will end up doing quite well together. But in the Swanee style segment here, I do want to mention somebody that has always been in style. Somebody that on course, off course, has had photo shoots, like really brings it. But a shout out to Lexi Thompson, who just announced that she's going to be retiring from the game of golf next year. So after this season, she is retiring. This is a bit of a surprise for me. I feel like, man, she still has she's really given it up in the core of her career, but she brought a lot of style to the game. The fitness side of things she brought in. Remember, she played in the Shriners last year and almost made the cut. She missed a putt in order to make the cut. But Lexi Thompson, couldn't be happier for you as long as you're happy with retirement. So, kudos and shout out to you. And if you are a female golfer, you need to check out Swannies and their new women's golf collection, because they've got some great stuff, and they have started making this year women's golf attire, and it is dope. I've got my wife looking at it now, and she wants stuff. She's bugging me every single week. She's like, hey, can you get me this? Can you get me this? Swannies stuff is phenomenal, but now the women get to take on some of that stuff. And if you got a girlfriend, fiance, wife, whoever, definitely take a look. If they love to play the game of golf, go take a look at Swannies and the women's collection over there. All right, Trot Golfer, here you go, man. The upcoming LIV Golf Houston. All right, LIV Golf Houston. This is the first time LIV Golf is going to be at the Golf Club of Houston. This is a Reese Jones and David Toms design. Par 72, measures at 7,500 yards. So it's a big boys course, right? This golf course is not uncommon with the pros. They formerly had the Houston Open from 2003 to 2019. It is a wetland-style golf course, but if you know Reese Jones, a lot of it's right in front of you. The key guys that you want to watch out for are going to be Bryson DeChambeau, Brooks Koepka, Jon Rahm. Those three are the guys that they're going to take advantage of how deep this golf course is. Obviously, everybody can get it out there now, but they get the advantage based off of how far they're hitting the golf ball. Brooks coming off of the PGA Championship to where he wasn't super happy with his performance there, especially on Saturday. Brooks Koepka is going to have a little bit of a point to prove and a little bit of a chip on his shoulder heading into this one. Jon Rahm played terribly at the PGA, so he's got something to prove as well. And then Bryson's coming off of that great performance to where we talked about it last week about how has Bryson DeChambeau arrived? In a lot of ways, the answer is yes. Is he the needle mover in golf? That's still TBD in my mind, but I do think that Bryson DeChambeau really became an entertainer, has matured, and is awesome and fun to watch. So we've got that going for the players to watch for. And then, I mean, you just relate those teams to those players. Legion 13, Smash GC, and Crushers GC. Those are the teams in my mind to watch out for this week. I think they each have a good opportunity. I'm not going out on any type of limb here by saying that, so don't think that you're going to find ridiculous betting odds for those particular teams or those individual players. But here's the thing. The big gaps in the schedule are just ruining it for me. And it has. Like, every single time we go on these big breaks, 4 weeks and so forth, to where there's not a LIV Golf event. And I'm a backer of LIV Golf. I like LIV Golf. I really enjoy the team aspect to it. I know a lot of people shit on it. It's okay. That being said, whenever there is one of these big momentum shifts in the schedule to where there's just a layoff, and I don't relate, if they're going into a major championship, I get it. Like, have the week off beforehand maybe, and then go right into an event the following week. But these long layoffs just kill it for me. I just can't really get excited about LIV Golf Houston right now. Although the players are still playing. You got Richard Bland, that Trot Golfer was talking about. Good old Dickie Bland goes into the Senior PGA Championship. It's its first ever senior event over the age of 50. Goes out there and wins the damn thing. So Dickie Bland. And here's the thing. All the haters from the PGA Tour troll side are going to say, oh, well, the PGA Tour is the only place to play and LIV Golf. You go there for retirement, blah, blah, blah. And we've said it, it's a lifestyle tour. But it doesn't mean that guys aren't going to strive to be the best that they possibly can be while they're out there. Now, there is some that are going to go through that. And I think every single time they sign a new player, that new player is going to have some struggles. And that's going to be an issue, right? You're not going to come over, get paid a bunch of money, not worry about making cuts because there are none, and all of a sudden play your absolutely best golf. We're seeing that with John Rahm right now. And all of a sudden, it's normally that second year that they turn on that switch and they start grinding. We saw it with Cam Smith. We saw it with Brooks Koepka. We're seeing it with these guys that in second year, they're not taking the long layoffs anymore. They're playing, they're practicing hard, and that's what we see with all the other major sport leagues. They're getting paid trillions of dollars. Like, they're getting paid a boatload of money, and they finally figure it out as to how to stay motivated, how to, as Tiger said, keep digging in the dirt, keep figuring it out, keep playing at their top level. And we noticed this past offseason, too, that some of the lower-level guys that aren't necessarily the biggest names are going out there playing week in and week out. We saw it with Joaquin Niemann, who, granted, he's a name, but he became a bigger name this year because of how much he was playing in the offseason and then came in and won multiple tournaments. So right there, there is figuring it out for these guys. And Dylan Vaudry mentions that the shotgun start, 3 rounds, and big times in between make it slow for in-person and online viewing. It does. That is factual. And that's what fans have a very tough time wrapping their head around. This is an issue. Now, as they get more players under contract and so forth. And I think if the merger doesn't happen, which I still think the merger is imminent, I still think they're going to make a deal. I still think that it's probably going to move over into the PGA Tour management side of things. And, team names might be changed, but ownership of those teams aren't going to change. They're going to keep those big names on each of those teams. But if they don't, let's play hypotheticals here. If they don't, and at the end of the year, some of these contracts are up, are they going to go over and get more people from the PGA Tour, entice them to come over for boatloads of money? Could happen. So you're going to go through this cycle all over again. But I think you got to have a more consistent schedule. That's not to say that it needs to be super long. It just needs to be compact. I think if they have an event every single week leading up to the majors and then right after the major, and they just really put it together around the major championships, I think they will have a very good product, and they have a good product, but the challenge is keeping people's interest. We live in a day and age right now where it's Instagram Reels, it's TikTok, everybody's attention is 15 seconds, and then you're moving on to the next thing. And so it makes it very challenging for any type of long-form content, and sitting down and watching a golf tournament for 5 hours is one of those tough things to do. And Trot Golfer does ask, when does Poulter's contract end this year? So everybody was on a 3-year contract that was signed initially because they didn't know if it was going to go beyond 3 years. So nobody has a longer contract than 3 years. Now, granted, some of the new guys that have been picked up over time, those are going to be up in years to come, like John Rahm, for instance, which I've heard conflicting information on John Rahm's contract. So that $600 million valuation was including his team equity. I don't know how they figured out a valuation for team equity, but apparently that is part of it. And so some of these guys are done at the end of this year. One of them that absolutely looks done, and we talked about this, Bobby and I, because Bobby Brown, who used to be on the show as a co-host, and shout out to Bobby because I absolutely love Bobby, but Bobby caddied for Dustin Johnson for the longest time, okay? Before leaving, and then Austin ended up taking over for DJ, but Bobby was there for the majority of DJ's career. We said it when he signed with LIV that it wasn't that big of a shock. And on top of that, after his contract was done, he's probably done with golf, as long as he's got enough money, because him and Paulina, they love the luxury lifestyle. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Like, a lot of people shit on that from the PGA Tour troll side of things. Like, oh, they just got a boatload of money. Like, they love the nicer things. That's crap. It's like, hey, it's okay to like nice things. I mean, I don't blame them at all. If I was in his shoes, I'd do the exact same thing. But I think golf has never been number one for DJ in a lot of ways. And it really shows. And it just shows that, like, he's just not in it mentally anymore. And Bobby used to say it and about him playing in golf tournaments, that it's like, there'd be rounds to where it's like Bobby would be so upset because he gave him a wrong number or something. And he would just go to, hey, Bob, it's okay. We're just going to go find it. We're just going to hit it again. It's fine. No big deal. And part of, like, being his caddy, loved that. But at the same time, that does not show a sense of just killer instinct, like trying to beat everybody. And it's shown in his performance at the Masters, at the PGA Championship now. I think he's getting close to the end of his contract. And I don't think he's going to sign up again for LIV Golf. So that's going to present some issues at the end of this year. Now, the question that should be asked is, since they're in their third season, they're contracted for 3 years. We haven't seen 3 years yet. So are they still going to be a part of it next season as well? That's going to be the kicker. I don't know the answer to that. I'm not privy, outside of some agents that have told me a few things, I'm not privy to seeing the contract. So I can't really comment too specifically in regards to that. But yeah, these guys, now the big guys that sign the big contracts, they have equity in the teams. Each one of them owns up to a quarter of the team for ownership, for equity. I think that was Liv's way and Piff's way of being like, okay, we're going to give you a contract for 3 years, and then afterwards, you're going to want to stay because you're going to want the money. You are an owner of that team. So it'll be interesting to see, but I just don't see it in DJ anymore. I don't know if you guys see it in DJ, but he's got an immense amount of talent. Don't get me wrong. DJ is one of my favorite golfers of all time. And I love his demeanor, but he's just kind of going into the twilight of his career, so to speak. And I think he's just enjoying life. And golf is just an extra thing that he goes out and does and makes a shit ton of money doing it. Like, I don't know. Tell me I'm wrong. I mean, and that was the thing. Like, we called this back when he signed with LIV Golf that he would be done after this year. And now it's starting to really look like that. So we'll see. I mean, we'll find out at the end of the year. But Dickie Bland wins the Senior PGA Championship, as I mentioned. Kieran Vincent, who's part of John Rahm's team, which is one of the reasons why I like John Rahm's team, Legion 13, this week, because not only does he have Kieran Vincent, he's also got Caleb Surratt and Terrell Hatton, who Terrell Hatton's been playing great all year long, just hasn't really broke through for a win or anything, but he's a solid B player on the team. Caleb Surratt is an absolute stick. I think he's going to play really well at the Golf Club of Houston. And then you've got Kieran Vincent, who just won the Kit Kat Cash and Carry Pro-Am in South Africa on the Sunshine Tour. I don't shit on any win, okay? That is a win in a professional golf tournament. So Kieran Vincent, great work there. And then you got Thomas Peters, part of the Range Goats, who tied second in the DP World Tour's Sodal Open in Belgium. So that was the DP World Tour. And Trot Golfer did mention here in regards to my little rant about DJ May only. I don't know exactly what that means, but I think that means that DJ might be moving on. And so, DJ may only play in the Masters. That certainly could be. I mean, I could see him just like whatever majors he gets into, just playing those. And he might move into like a GM role for the Four Aces. Bring on a fourth player. That's the next phase, by the way, of all of this. Like, Bubba Watson has already moved into like a full-on GM mode to where he's got a team that him and a couple other guys manage that team. And I think DJ might do the same thing. They brought in what's-his-face from Travis Matthews to manage the team and kind of be the GM of it. But I think DJ is going to take on kind of that ownership role. And I think he'd be cool with that. I don't know, man. It just doesn't look like he loves golf anymore. And I don't want to speak for him, but that's just what I see. And that's what I saw in the PGA Championship. It's what I saw in the Masters. It's just like he's not at an elite level mentally anymore around the game. He just kind of goes out and plays. Now, once again, we do have, and I'm bringing this back, golf picks, but louder. Okay. Little take on golf, but louder. And the switch with this, we used to pick the last place individual and the last place team. I'm going to tell you, individual-wise, I'm going Brooks Koepka. I think Brooks Koepka has something to prove this week. Team-wise, I'm going Legion 13. Legion 13, once again, Caleb Surratt is going to play well at this golf course. Great iron player. John Rahm, he's going to be the wild card in my opinion, but you got Kieran Vincent coming in playing well. You've also got Terrell Hatton playing well. John Rahm's going to be the wild card, but I think Legion 13 takes it this week. From the team side, that'll be their third team victory if they can pull it off this week. Man, I have been going for a long time. Any last questions before we kind of wrap it up, or any final comments about good old LIV Golf Houston? We'll work our way backwards, the Swanee style segment. Once again, if you are tuning in to find out who won the Swannies $250 worth of gear, that is still going to be going until midnight tonight. Tomorrow morning on Instagram, I will be announcing the winner of that contest. So make sure to go on to Pole Hook Golf if you want to make an entry. Go on. Tag your foursome in the comments. You got to like the post, and then you got to make sure that you're following Pole Hook Golf and Swannies Golf in order to be eligible for that. There is no limit to the number of entries around that. And then if you got anything else around the RBC Canadian Open, the Charles Schwab Challenge recap, NCAA championships. Oh, one last thing about the NCAA championship, since that match finally did end, Auburn is going to the final and will be playing Florida State University for the team title for the NCAA Division I Men's Golf Championship in Carlsbad, California. All right. So with that said, I do want to thank our sponsor, Swannies Golf. Go to swannies.co, utilize promo code PullHookGolf25 at checkout for 25% off your entire order at Swannies.co. And without further ado, folks, I appreciate all of you. Enjoy the golf this week. We've got both sides of the fence being able to enjoy some golf. LIV Golf is back in Houston. RBC Canadian Open in Canada. It is their national open. And watch out for good old Rory McIlroy and some of the other guys I mentioned earlier. So without further ado, hope everybody has a great week. I will see you guys next Tuesday. Peace.